Wow. It is so hard to believe that the Switch is already 4 years old. It's like, I got the Switch when it came out, and it feels like yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually the first console that I got the year it came out, because all the other consoles was like a year after usually.
For me, it was the first console that I actually got on launch date, so I'm very excited to be talking about it today.
Same here.
Yeah, and I have a lot of fond memories. I think that was really the last time I went to a launch of a console, and it was really something else. It was really magical, and I really don't think I'm ever gonna get the experience again.
I mean, you could. It's just gonna take a few generations, because they already released the PS5 and Xbox Series X. But I remember when I got my Switch, it was day one. We drove past the Best Buy, my dad and I, and there was a line a mile long. Then we were thinking about going to GameStop. There was also a line there. However, Walmart did not have that big of a line. There was only one person waiting, and it was indoors too. So we just got to wait in the store. Everyone was super nice there. Everyone was excited to get the Switch. And even when people wanted to just... Usually you would stay in line if it's outside so nobody cuts you in line, but everyone agreed just to keep their spots, and we got stuff like beef jerky. I remember getting a Mountain Dew Kickstart, and I think almost everyone got a Switch that day, so it was a great time.
Yeah, and also the reveal in general of the Switch was really exciting, and like the time leading between like the initial reveal and then the presentation and then the launch of the Switch, that honestly felt amazing.
Oh, totally.
And, yeah, and I think there was even people that waited outside for a month to get the Switch.
That was Captain Nintendo, dude, I think.
Yeah,
Alex, I remember him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch his channel a lot around the time the Switch came out, and also like other channels like Switch Force and stuff like that. Their content is almost completely different now, but back when the Switch came out, it was all about the new console coming out and the hype for the Nintendo Switch. And it was just really exciting.
I think anything after the Wii U was just kind of a big deal for Nintendo. Not to mention, it was a magical time for Nintendo fans. It was a brand new promise of a new thing. You had Breath of the Wild coming out. You had the new concept of a portable console that you can have docked. And I think that, for me, and this is controversial, I actually really like the look of the Joy-Cons. They looked super intuitive. I know they definitely still have their problems, but even just looking at it, I said, this looks like a well-designed console. It looks fun. It looks intuitive. And I think the day that it comes out, it's going to be a massive success.
Yeah, I was thinking similarly. I really like the design of the console. Even when they just showed in the reveal trailer the standard gray Joy-Con model, I thought it looked really sleek. I thought it looked professional. And overall, I definitely think that the Switch had a lot of potential from the beginning. So the question we're answering this discussion is, has the Switch lived up to the potential after 4 years? Let's talk about it. So I think we should start off with some of the pros of the console, not referring to the Pro Controller, of course, some of the actual, really good things about the consoles. I think that with the Switch, the idea of it being a console handheld hybrid is brilliant. It's really gotten good use for me. I can bring my Switch anywhere I go. It's so cool being able to play these console games on the go. And it is a feature that I just can't see the next console Nintendo makes without. Like, it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's the best idea Nintendo had for a console. And I think it was partially driven by Iwata in his last years, and just around that time in general. And I feel like the Switch, with it being like a big concept of having both handheld and home console gaming, that was probably one of the last concepts that Iwata came up with. And overall, I feel like it was like a really good idea, and it was kind of like revolutionary for the video game industry.
Oh, totally.
I completely agree with that. And then as well, every Nintendo person, or a Nintendo user at the time, we had the Wii U, and sure, it wasn't perfect, but I'm sure at least once or twice people thought, the Wii U would be such a great console if we could take that on the go. Like, it has such good games. Like, you have Super Mario 3D World, you have Pikmin 3, you have a great variety of games, including Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I mean, come on, that's a near perfect game. But I think that capitalizing on that success, and I think they definitely listened to the fans on that aspect. The Switch was definitely a make or break system, and I think that they handled it perfectly.
Yeah, Reggie said that. He said that after the Wii U, the Switch was make or break. So it could have been Nintendo's Dreamcast scenario, and it seems that it's worked out quite well.
Yeah, I had a feeling from the start that this was going to do well, just with its, like, even from the initial trailer, with how the advertising was executed, it just felt like it was just Nintendo trying something completely new to kind of jumpstart their, like, their policies and, products with their company again, so...
I think, too, Nintendo has primarily advertised to children, and I think that with the resurgence at the time, before they had the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I think with the Switch, they advertised it, the first trailer, I can tell you, it was primarily aimed toward young adults. And I think that was probably the smartest choice that they had, because that is probably their largest demographic, is because those young kids are now growing up from the Wii and the Wii U, and now they have the Switch. And I think that, as Reecee said, that advertising was handled exceptionally well, unlike the Wii U, which was primarily advertised towards children.
Go on, Reecee.
And also, I would like to add, remember those trailers at the beginning of the around the time the Switch launched, where it just had this random box in the middle of the city, and then people went inside and then played Switch games, and then there was like one in the middle of nowhere. It kind of reminds me of like the older GameCube trailers a little bit. Just with,
yeah.
And I think they had one with like John Cena in it or something like that.
So he wasn't doing the Fred movie, he was in a Switch commercial.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I guess for me, Demetri, you and I, we were there when the Switch was announced. I remember the whole NX hype. Remember Rumor Explain and everything. It was pretty interesting till up to the reveal of the Switch. I think we were all kind of anxious because, we all love Nintendo and we don't want them to fail. But the Wii U was failing. 2015, 2016 were awful years for Nintendo. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it.
I would say that 2015 was decent because at least that gave us Splatoon, Super Mario Maker, Yoshi's Woolly World, and a few other games. But yeah, 2016, when the game of the year on the Wii U is Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Rio Olympics, and yeah, I would not consider that a good year for the Wii U.
Yeah,
that means there is most definitely a problem.
Yeah, for sure. No, but when I remember you and I both, we watched it at the same time. We were like, don't tell me anything until you finish the trailer. And I remember it was nighttime, and I was watching the Switch presentation, and we already kind of knew it was going to be a console hybrid system. But I think what sold me on the Switch, and I might be jumping ahead a little too early, but that first Super Mario Odyssey trailer, I was hooked right away. Like, literally every time I watch that trailer, I get goosebumps. Like,
Reecee and
my God.
Reecee and I actually just wrapped up the stream where we had this conversation, and how impactful Odyssey was to both of us. Odyssey came out. Well, Odyssey was revealed during a really rough time in my life, and I think just the promise of a new 3D Mario game, but not, well, you have a new 3D Mario game, but as well, you have a brand new Nintendo console. I think that was just so magical. And I remember the E3 trailer for Odyssey so fondly with Jump Up Superstar. That just kind of threw everything for a twist. And I will never, ever forget that. And I think that Nintendo had the smart idea with launching that. Well, they didn't launch it, but they had it for a, what was it, October release date?
October 2017, yes.
Yeah, it was their first year, and they put out a brand new Zelda game, and they put out a brand new 3D Mario game. And I think that was probably the smartest thing they could have done to build up that initial hype.
Oh, totally, for sure.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, where Super Mario Odyssey was really the point for you, like, yep, I am definitely sold on the Switch. I mean, I've followed Super Mario Odyssey ever since the 5 seconds of footage in the Switch reveal, but oh my gosh.
Same.
Oh
the
my
2017
God.
Switch reveal, I was just blown away because I'm going to get more into, like, everything about Odyssey, but when it came to that game, During that period, it was a little bit of a bad period for Mario games. The games were very similar to each other. It was New Super Mario Bros. Oversaturation. You had games like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Paper Mario Sticker Star, and even Color Splash. Yeah, Color Splash, more like Paper Mario belongs in the trash. But then Odyssey comes along, and that game changes everything. When you saw that reveal trailer of Mario in the city, then going to a Mexico-inspired desert, then going into this gigantic wooded area with robots, and then a low-poly lunch land, whatever you want to call it. We know the name's Malt Voblano now, and it's in the Luncheon Kingdom, but wow. Seeing that creativity and care put into a Mario game, this was the dream Mario game I wanted, by the way. And we'll definitely get into how I feel about the game and how you guys feel about it, because honestly, Super Mario Odyssey is a very important part of the Switch experience for all of us, I would say. But overall, the Switch build-up was fierce. It was very strong. The hype was out of control. Every day leading up to the Switch the Switch presentation, the reveal was dropped randomly, but the presentation in January, it was very, very exciting. But then 2017, just all throughout 2017, everything was great. There was a lot of promise for the Switch. It was a great year. But overall, we're going to talk about how the Switch has held up. We've talked about our experience before the Switch came out, a little bit of it during it. We love the concept of the console handheld hybrid thing. So we're going to go on to some more positives about the Switch. And speaking of Super Mario Odyssey, the Switch, hands down, has some of my favorite games of all time. It is home to my favorite game of all time.
Like with Super Mario Odyssey being also my favorite game of all time, Animal Crossing New Horizons, I mean, it's one of my most played Nintendo games now, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, my second favorite game, and Super Mario Maker 2, Link's Awakening, even though that's a remake, but there's a ton of games that I really like on the Nintendo Switch.
Not to mention, you have all of those games plus a brand new Smash Brothers. That is insane. And with the Switch's portability, that just optimized the playing field for new types of gamers. You have brand new gamers who have never experienced a Smash game before. You have the old ones that come back from Smash 3DS or Wii U or, God forbid, Melee. But then the thing about Smash was the way that they built the hype. And we have contradicting opinions about that E3. And I get it. It was all about Smash and the rest was kind of boring. But you cannot deny that Smash's presence on the Switch did deserve that amount of time. And the way that they handled DLC, we've gotten Banjo-Kazooie, which is by far my most wanted character of all time. We've gotten Minecraft Steve. We've gotten Terry Bogard. We've gotten...
And then with Minecraft Steve, you saw my reaction to that.
You saw mine to Banjo.
Yeah, we got our most wanted characters in, and
I think
still waiting for Crash.
I think we're all missing the reactions to when Waluigi is revealed, so you could see Dimitri's reaction, and then when Shadow the Hedgehog's revealed, you could see T&D's reaction.
Actually, I would kind of prefer Dr. Eggman or Crash, but Shadow would be okay too.
Wow, you actually admitted you'd watch Shadow? I thought it was a joke, but all right, Tails doll then.
Metal Knuckles.
Metal Knuckles. But yeah, with Smash, I will agree that we have very contradicting opinions on that E3. I will say, though, even though that E3 was just Smash, and I know you really liked when they talked about Donkey Kong's facial expressions instead of talking about the next game coming to the Switch, in any series for that matter, like, we could have heard about Animal Crossing or something like that, but no, it's the facial expressions on Donkey Kong that matter. I do think that the hype leading up to Smash was very strong. King Rool's reveal was great. And even though I felt like with Smash Bros. There was a little bit too much hype, like too much promotion, stuff like that, just a little bit too much, I did definitely enjoy the game. I put 100 hours into it, and it's my favorite Smash despite some of the problems I have with it. Like the core gameplay, the roster, the stages are that good that it's easily my favorite. It's my go-to game when I'm playing multiplayer. Smash definitely one of my favorite games on the Switch. But when it comes to my all-time favorites, I mentioned this countless times, Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite game of all time. For one, it's a completely new take on 3D Mario, while also maintaining what made the original games great. It's open world, but more so open where it doesn't kick you out of the level, the controls are buttery smooth, the locations are so cool, so different from anything we've seen, the creativity in that game is pouring, and overall, That's just a Cliff Notes version, but I love Super Mario Odyssey. Then going on to another game, I would say Smash Bros. Is up there with my favorites. I explain why. Then we're going to go on to Breath of the Wild, of course. That is on Wii U, but it came out the same day on the Switch, and I don't think many people really cared that it was on Wii U. Great game, got me into the Zelda series. What more can be said about Breath of the Wild? It's just that good of a game. Then you got stuff that came out later on, like Super Mario Maker 2. It's a definitive Mario Maker. It has so many more course elements, themes, so many improvements from the original that it's totally worth getting if you play the original again. It's a sequel, of course, but we're not going to talk about ports just yet. Luigi's Mansion 3. Wonderful game. One of the... Actually, scratched at the best-looking Nintendo game. Has some
it looks
great
like
gameplay.
a Pixar game.
Yes, it does.
It does look. It looks straight out of Pixar. It's a
great gameplay
comparison.
that meshes the best aspects of Dark Moon and the original together, while also creating something new and refreshing. It's that good. And I know what some of you are thinking, especially T&D thinks is, do you only play Mario games? Well, not necessarily, because a lot of games on the Switch, which we'll get into kind of after we talk about our favorite first-party games. Animal Crossing, another great game. Animal Crossing New Horizons came out right when the pandemic started. So grateful to have it then. It was great playing it. I still go back to it occasionally, and I know it has some issues with content and stuff, but I still had a really great time with it. But
yeah,
overall,
it's actually my most played Switch game since I have like 335 hours in it now. So
wow.
I have over 1,000 hours in Smash. I think I have a problem.
Yeah, I think you do have a problem, but wow. I gotta say that the Switch definitely has some amazing titles, so I'd like to hear more of yours.
If I may, I would like to say, going back to first party, Splatoon 2 is a fantastic game, especially including the Octo expansion. Just everything about it was handled perfectly, and I think that with Splatoon 3 coming out on the same console, it's going to perform incredibly well. And then as well, you can't talk about the Switch without talking about its third party. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is great.
Oh, totally, I'd agree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my list a little bit brief because there's a lot I have to say about these games, but I would say the Switch's third-party support has actually been better than the first-party, which is a very rare thing to say about Nintendo consoles. So I'm going to kind of cheat with this one, because this is my favorite third-party game, if you will, on the Switch, and that is Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Such an underrated game. Really cool that they took the Mario & Rabbids crossover idea, which seemed insane, and actually made a really, really good game out of it. It has a cool story, great gameplay mechanics, great exploration. If you don't have the game, definitely pick it up. It's not that expensive to get. Highly recommend it. Then we got stuff like the Crash games on Switch. Crash Insane Trilogy and Crash Nitro Kart or Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled are great games. Crash Nitro or Team Racing Nitro Fueled being even better than Mario Kart 8 in my opinion. Katamari Damacy Reroll. Again, it's a remake, but it's a remake of a fantastic game. And if you don't have Katamari on the PS2, it is definitely worth getting. And
we even have games like The Witcher 3, Skyrim,
Overwatch.
Like even Fortnite,
Mortal Kombat 11,
Apex Legends.
It's so weird seeing how many third-party companies are willing to support the Switch now. When I remember that Ubisoft publicly denounced the Wii U because they simply thought it wouldn't sell enough copies of Rayman Legends, so it became multi-plat afterwards. And now the definitive edition is on the Switch. That's irony for you.
Yeah, that is irony right there. And just
if you,
what was that?
Go ahead. You're fine.
It was just a few like cliff notes about third-party games. I'm just looking at my Switch collection right now, and there are a ton of great games. The Puyo Puyo Tetris games are amazing. South Park RPGs, South Park Stick of Truth, and South Park The Fractured But Whole. Those are pretty great games. And just overall, the Switch has had some great third-party support, and even if it may be lacking in first-party games, which we'll definitely get into, there are a ton of third-party games to make up for it.
Then as well, they have a massive indie game presence with games like Celeste.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Then you have, as controversial as it is, you have the Five Nights at Freddy's series, which originally a PC game is selling like hotcakes on the Switch.
And you also have the two games. Well, I mean, one's coming to the Switch at least, but you have the two games that were really popular in 2020, Among Us and Fall Guys is coming soon. But the fact that those games are just coming to Switch, it's just like you wouldn't see that on the Wii U or even the Wii.
No,
like popular games like that.
Even Cuphead is on Switch, which
Cuphead.
I thought it was always going to be Xbox exclusive, but because of Nintendo and Microsoft's blossoming relationship, we got one of the great challenging run and gun games of this modern era. I mean, truly, it is a tough game, but it's so great to see it on the Switch. And there's a physical copy coming whenever they decide to launch the DLC, but it's coming out. But yeah, Cuphead is a great one.
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight for sure.
Shovel Knight is a great addition to the Switch. Even though he's not in Smash, he is an assist trophy though, so we can't overlook that.
And also all the Shantae games that are on the Switch.
Yeah.
I think most of them, if not all of them, are on the Switch now. Because I think the original one was being ported.
Yeah, there's also, if I may, just really quickly, they have the collections for Mega Man, like all the Mega Man games, like the original Mega Man games, the Mega Man X games, the Mega Man Zero games, and the ZX games. They have Street Fighter collection. They have the Ace Attorney games, the original 3. They have all the original Devil May Cry games. I mean, in terms of third-party, No More Heroes. In terms of third-party content, Nintendo is loaded. However, like Demeech said, that comes with caveats.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is where we start to get into some of the cons of the Switch. Not the Joy-Cons, some of the actual problems with the Switch, which actually the Joy-Cons will tie into that. So, I said before that the Switch has the reverse problem of having a lot of good third-party support, but poor first-party support. What I mean by this? Well, as we've talked about, the Switch has no shortage of third-party games, a lot of great games on the Switch from other companies, but when you pick up a Nintendo console, at least in my opinion, you are looking for those games, the Marios, the Zeldas, the Donkey Kong, Pokemon, I know that's kind of, it's a different thing, Smash Bros, and we have got some of those series, but unfortunately the Switch has had a major problem when it comes to providing new experiences. Now, with the Switch games we talked about, games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, and even stuff like Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2, Animal Crossing, stuff like that. The games are so good on the Switch that you just want more and more of that great stuff coming in. You got Super Mario Odyssey, you probably really want a sequel if you really like that game. I know I certainly do. And unfortunately though, the Switch just has a big problem, and I'll list the series that it's missing so you guys can get a really good idea, and there are a lot more. So the big three that I think about, we don't have Mario Kart 9, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a port of a Wii U game that's approaching 7 years old, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is more of a toy than anything else. That's it. We don't have a proper Mario Kart on Switch, and that's Nintendo's biggest franchise. And don't give me the argument of, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling so well, it'll cannibalize the No. Splatoon 3 is coming out on the same console. I don't want to hear it. If you're going to say it, I'm just going to say, I can't hear you. Then, we don't have a new Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was the pinnacle of quality, always has been on Nintendo consoles. It really showcased the power of every console it was on. Super Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country Trilogy, some of the most graphically impressive games at the time, and they still look great today. Then you have games like Donkey Kong Country Returns, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. What do we have on the Switch? We have Mario & Rabbids Donkey Kong DLC, and we have a port of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with a new funky mode. Again, ports are good because they give people a way to play these games if they've never played them before, if they want to replay them. But oh my gosh, where are the new games in these franchises? And then Pikmin 4, where is that? They said it was near completion in 2015, and it's approaching 6 years since 2015 when they said that? I just don't get it. And now let's get into the smaller series the Switch doesn't have, shall we? Oh boy, this is going to be a long list, so you guys probably want to get a Mountain Dew or a Red Bull when I'm saying this. Okay, so
I've got my popcorn.
Okay, we are missing new entries in the Captain Toad series. I don't know if it's going to be a series or not, because there was only limited to one game, but a sequel would be very nice. We don't have a new Chibi Robo. We don't have a new F-Zero. We don't have a new Rhythm Heaven. We don't have a new Wario Land. We don't have a new WarioWare. We don't have a new kind of Mii sports game. We have Miitopia coming. We are missing a lot of series. We don't have a new Star Fox. Metroid, that's coming, but it's very far off. There could be a 2D game or something to, like, ease that, but oh my gosh. The Switch is lacking majorly in the first-party department. As great as games like Super Mario Odyssey and Luigi's Mansion 3 are, they're a bit far and few between if I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, 2017 was a banger year, 2019 was good, but everything in between has just been a sandwich full of crap.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I think that, yes, you were talking about ports just a minute ago. Yes, they are a fantastic way for those people who have never played those games before to relive them, or if you're just willing to spend a few extra bucks. But I feel as if, I'm sure I'm not alone on this, I feel as if Nintendo is relying a little bit too much on their ports.
Yeah.
On which to rely.
And
Lucky there's a Nintendo Switch port.
And not to mention, they're $60.
Yeah,
And
that's
they were
stupid.
20.
That's
And
insane.
and the thing is, they were with Nintendo Selects and everything at the end of the Wii U's lifespan. They were only $20. So you're paying 3 times the price of them on the Switch.
3
And what do you
times
get?
the flavor,
New
3 times
funky
the
mode.
price.
And then some games, that's like the same thing. They have them on Nintendo Selects, but then you have examples like New Super Mario Brothers U. Yes, it is a great game. It may be a little, like, it's a little bland, but I mean, it's not worth $60 because you're taking out the boost mode, and yes, you're adding New Super Luigi U, but you did that. You made it cheaper on the last console. Why would you do that?
Even like I don't even think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe deserved to be $60. Like they fixed a lot of things that were wrong with Mario Kart 8, but
Battle mode.
Yeah, like battle mode. But $60 for a game that I already had on the Wii U, like, and the sad part is that many people did not own a Wii U. So, because of this, to many people, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a new game. So, since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been, I think, one of the top 5 games selling the most for the Nintendo Switch, this gives Nintendo the idea, well, if people are willing to buy $60 ports, then we should just keep doing it. And I hate that. It's just so... It's like non-consumer friendly, and I love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's a great game, but that should have been $40.
But the thing is, though, you look at Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and you're like, oh, that's a Wii U game. It sort of makes sense as to why they do it. Examples like Skyward Sword HD, which is a Wii game, that's completely ridiculous.
That's
spending $60 on a Wii game with button mapping and maybe a few quality of life changes. No, that is not worth $60.
I feel like for that game, like, I feel like they're just trying to go the Zelda HD route, but they're like, oh, we'll just port it. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I just it's strange because I remember in the Wii U era they beautifully remade Wind Waker, and maybe
Twilight
not
Princess.
Twilight Princess. I know there was a lot of controversy with that remake in particular, but they did change the lighting and they did fix some of the textures and work on some of the models. But those were proper remasters. Skyward Sword, Dimitri, I'm actually glad that you showed me this because I was in the camp because I never played Skyward Sword, so I thought it actually looked good, and you were like, dude, no, you gotta watch this 4K Skyward Sword texture pack online. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks way better than what Nintendo's doing.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and I'm just like, Nintendo could do this. Why aren't, like, it's so easy. They have the high quality textures from I believe the beta build, I remember.
Yeah.
And they have like, they're able to do lighting, new lighting in their games. I'm not sure why they're doing the bare minimum for,
Well, it's because they're lazy and their new president is really not good. But this goes into another issue. Lack of legacy content. This is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. How could we complain about Wii U ports that give people a chance to play older games when we're upset that there's no legacy content? Well, there's a right way to do it, What was that?
I had a whole rant about this because, like, okay, here's an example. So, I did a poll, and I think you did a poll too about the amount of people who've played Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, and 80% of the people said that they haven't played it at all.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Like the Thousand-Year Door, that's an amazing game, and also other games too across the Nintendo 64, GameCube, and even Wii, DS, Game Boy, all of those consoles, and people aren't really getting the chance to play those.
Yeah, and here's the thing with that. Prior consoles did it right. The Wii had a virtual console, which priced old games accordingly. NES games were $5, SNES $8, and 64 $10. That was a great way to play older content for the first time, or if you wanted to experience it again, it wasn't a big price to pay, which was great. I love the virtual console, and it was great having it on the Wii, 3DS, and Wii U. What they did with the Switch, where they just had, they have the NES and SNES games online. You know why they offer those? Because the nostalgia and the heyday for those kind of games have passed. The ones people want are GameCube, N64, and Wii, and they know that full well. And this will go into another point, but I just want to bring this up. With the legacy content, the problem with the Wii U ports isn't that they're Wii U ports. The problem is that they're priced at $60 and they're treated as new games. The Virtual Console supplemented new releases. The Wii U ports act as new releases. That's the difference right there. And this goes into another problem I have with the Switch. This is very subjective, but I'm going to bring it up. I just don't mind bringing it up. I don't care what people say. The Switch has a lot of low-quality first-party games from Nintendo. Is it as bad as some of the stuff we saw in the later Wii U days, like Mario Tennis Ultra Smash and Amiibo Festival? No, it's not that bad.
Jesus.
But these aren't good games, and this has one of the biggest problems with the Switch. All these games have this problem. Kirby Star Allies. It was a very short game, very easy even by Kirby standards, and a complete downstep from the Amazing Planet Robobot. It was a complete downgrade in every way. Mario Tennis Aces, much better than Ultra Smash, had great gameplay, but there was literally nothing to do. They didn't even put a stage select screen in. Even Animal Crossing New Horizons is victim to being incomplete at launch. And with a lot of these games, it seems to be more prevalent in the even-numbered years. They release a game unfinished, patch it up with content, use the fix-it-later approach, and then you got the gaming journalists and people who talk about Nintendo saying, oh, they're doing a little games-as-a-service thing. That's really cool. Giving people extra content to play. Maybe they're not making you pay for the content directly, but it's still a scummy practice making people buy an incomplete game and essentially treating them as beta testers. I love Animal Crossing New Horizons, but from what I've heard, it lacked half the content that New Leaf did at launch, which is really upsetting to hear. And I've played Mario Tennis Aces, and let me tell you, I was so burned by that game that I ended up selling it and questioned every future Nintendo game unless I was 100% sure that it'd be worth getting. I skipped Super Mario Party because of it. And then we got one more. I know people really hate me for bringing this up. Paper Mario the Origami King. This is a case where the game was complete, but they really missed a golden opportunity. Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Luigi's Mansion 3 returned to the roots of their series and really expanded upon it. Paper Mario the Origami King, it's another one of Tanabe's passion projects where he just does whatever he feels like, makes it different for the sake of being different, and didn't listen to any of the fan feedback. And yes, I know the game has gotten good reception, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure a game in the style of the first two games that people have been begging for years would have gotten better reception. I highly recommend checking out Arlo's review of it because he does a much better job at explaining it than I do, but that's just how I feel overall.
So in my opinion, since I've been really big about Paper Mario lately with talking about it, so I think, just in my opinion, on its own right, I think it's a good game. It has some good things going for it. I enjoyed my playthrough of it. But compared to games like Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, which is one of my favorite games of all time, it doesn't hold a candle to it. It's just it's lacking a lot of the things that made the older games special, like with Tanabe and everything. So
what's sad is that Tanabe, he understood what fans want, and he just laughed in the face of it and just is like, no,
here's a ring system.
We don't want to do that. Yep, here's a ring system.
I think
this is the same guy. I'll go on, Reecee.
I think he even said in his interview, oh, I'm trying to make all the fans happy. And he's like,
Yeah.
I understand that the older fans like their older battle system, but we're just going to have a ring in here and have everyone enjoy it. Because, everyone's going to enjoy the ring system, aren't they?
Ring. Who doesn't like rings?
I just can't believe that after all the backlash from Sticker Star and Color Splash that they would attempt to do something like this again. It just feels really tone deaf, not only on Tanabe's part, but on Nintendo's part as well. Because I feel like Nintendo has the power to say no to Tanabe if they wanted to.
Just, there's a lack of legacy content, over-reliance on ports at $60, not enough new games, still problems not listening to fans, and again, the terrible online and Joy-Con issues. The Switch, here's the thing, these have been talked about to death, so I think we should just keep this short. Online, it doesn't really work, it's terrible, it's $20, it should work, it should be free. I guess NES games and SNES games are a cool bonus, because I do like going to NES Tournament Golf and the Lost Levels occasionally, whatever. Donkey Kong Country 3, there we go, but it's just, yeah, Nintendo, get your online together. You really need to upgrade to at least Windows XP. And as for the controllers, yeah, it's very weird, because we had a Game Boy survive the Gulf War explosion. Meanwhile, a Switch controller can't survive a speck of dust. So what I believe happened is the Switch was rushed to market. It wasn't fully tested, and that's why it has a plethora of hardware issues. So I'm hoping for the Switch Pro it's tested accordingly.
I hope so, because
Me too.
I've gone through 2 pairs of Joy-Cons. I got the Hori Split Pad Pro because I couldn't take it anymore. My wallet couldn't take it. I'm not gonna put her through another tragedy. Okay.
I hate to tell you this. I have 8 pairs of Joy-Cons.
Oh my goodness. Do they all drift though?
I have not one. You know what? I do have one, but it's not paired. It's just the right analog stick. That is the only one that drifts, and that is the first. That's the. It's from the first. It's from the pair that I got in the box set.
You are very lucky because, oh man, even my Switch Pro controller started drifting. I mean, I remember Demeech when we first got the Switch. You and I both remember when there were those videos of the Switch overheating, and
oh yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I think you actually had to send your Switch in. I sent my Switch in once because there was a weird smell coming out of my Switch. I had to give that in. I mean, Nintendo's customer support is always excellent. Like, I have no complaints there. But it's gotten to the point, this is what ticks me off the most, and I'll keep this brief, but instead of addressing the problem with the Joy-Cons, all Nintendo does is, we'll give you free repairs. That's it. And you know what? They've gotten sued for it multiple times.
Rightfully
and
so.
they're still being sued.
No,
rightfully so.
I'll admit
I believe
this.
they're in their 6th lawsuit.
Wow.
And their 6th lawsuit. Look at that. And they don't give up. I mean, look, I hate to say, rightfully so to Nintendo for that, but come on, own up to your mistake. At least, come out with, like, better versions of your Joy-Cons before you come out with the Switch Pro. Like, I get it. Maybe you have better Joy-Cons for the Switch Pro, but at least come up with a solution for now,
I think what's really sad with that is, too, they had the Switch hardware revision, and the Joy-Con drift was a huge problem long before that was announced. So there was a perfect opportunity to use a redesigned Joy-Con for those hardware revisions with keeping, the general, the shape intact. But they missed out on such a golden opportunity, and I agree with you guys. I hope they kind of patch that up with the Switch Pro if it does ever happen.
Now, here's the thing. I have a lot of pairs of Joy-Cons as well. I think I have 6 or 7 of them. None of them have drifted, fortunately, which I'm very lucky about. But it shouldn't be a problem, and I believe it's real. It's just like the hardware issues really need to be addressed. So overall, talking about the Switch 4 years later, I'd say I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the Switch. It's home to some of my favorite games of all time, and I love that you can bring it anywhere, and I love all the games you can play on it, but at the same time, I feel a little underwhelmed because it doesn't have enough first-party games, it doesn't have a lot or good online, it doesn't have legacy content, and just, it could do a lot more. So if they address these problems, like have more first-party games, have legacy content, fix the controllers, it would easily be my favorite system of all time. So I'm expecting, hopefully, better things to come. We already know that future years for the Switch are going to be much better than last year. We're going to have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl this year, or Shining Pearl this year, which is great. Gonna have Mario Golf, which could be good. Few titles that are probably not announced yet, so things are looking pretty good. So I'm expecting the future of the Switch to be very bright.
Yeah, and with my overall opinion on the Switch, it's actually my favorite Nintendo console. Despite its many problems, it's just the hybrid aspect of it has been very useful for me, because I go places a lot. Well, I mean, right now, not really, but I still...
The convenience of it.
Yeah, it's just very helpful for me, like with like the aspect of it and everything. In the games, it has some of my favorite games of all time, and just like it's just overall the experiences I've had from the Nintendo Switch have been better than the other Nintendo consoles, despite its problems. So that's what makes it my favorite console.
Yeah.
And I'll piggyback off of that one, actually, Reecee. The Switch, there's something about the Switch with its portability. I don't know, with such a golden variety of games. Yes, it does have the potential to have more first party content, and then as well potentially legacy content. Let's hope for that. But there's something about it. It's just the ergonomic design, the presence, like just the feel of the Nintendo Switch. This is the definitive way to play video games for me. With Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, even though we need Mario Kart 9, we need it now. And then as well, games you wouldn't expect. It's just a very well-rounded machine. And I think that Nintendo definitely still has some work with it. Furukawa said that the Switch is currently, I'd say, halfway through its lifespan. So we definitely have the potential to see more of this console. And I think that we will see something soon. I don't think it will be perfect, but I think it has potential.
I really hope so, because, like you said, we are halfway through, but I have to agree with you guys. Demeech, I know you're more mixed on the Switch, but honestly, like it's the most convenient game console I have right now. My gaming setup isn't perfect right now, so a lot of my PS4 games, aren't accessible right now. Also, PS4 has a lot of issues with the controller dying like super rapidly. And also, even though I don't go out a lot these days for obvious reasons, my brother, my little brother sleeps in my room early, so it's really nice to have, the luxury of taking the Switch out of the dock and playing in handheld mode in the living room for a little while. It's really nice, and I really think the handheld console hybrid for the Switch, it's one of my favorites in gaming. I do agree. There are issues that need to be addressed, but I can't knock down the idea of the console itself. Like, it works for the most part.
Oh, totally.
And while I have my issues with it, I think it is one of my favorite consoles of all time. I just wish Nintendo would treat it as such, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean, because I'm going to say I do like the Switch. Don't think I hate it, because I really enjoy the system, and in fact, if I could choose just one game console, like, as a way of playing, I would probably choose a Switch. I wish it had more games, but if I had to choose one style of a system, a console or handheld, of course I'd choose a console handheld hybrid, and the Switch is really cool when it comes to that. I play my Switch a lot, but it's just, I really expected more when it comes to first-party output. I wish some of the games were of higher quality. I wish that it had legacy content, better online, and better controllers. That's really all I'm asking for, and it shouldn't be too hard because Nintendo has done those things in the past before. But overall, I'm going to say I like the Switch. I've had a great time with it over the years. I would say 2017 and 2019 were my favorite years with the Switch, and there's always something to play, even if it's third party, which is cool. I'm very excited for Crash 4 coming out on March 12th, so I'll get that day one. I'm super excited for it. And it looks like things are looking up, and there's going to be a bright future for the Switch despite its flaws. Well, anyways, I think that about wraps it up on my end. Do you guys have anything to say before we wrap this up?
So yeah, like, as I was saying, it's just a really convenient console to have, and yeah, basically most of the things what you said. And even though, like adding to the stuff with ports, even though most of the ports are overpriced and take the place of other Switch games, there are good Wii U ports, like Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury recently, which we forgot to mention.
Yep.
is like almost feels like a new game because they added Bowser's Fury and all of the new quality of life updates.
Thank you for bringing
Right.
that up, because I do actually have to say one thing about that. Yeah, I would definitely consider that to be essentially mostly like a new game. Bowser's Fury may be a bit short, but the experience was so satisfying that I would say it's definitely worth getting. That was one of the
Right.
few Wii U ports, along with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, that was worth double dipping. So when I refer to the Wii U ports, I'm mainly talking about stuff like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, new funky modes, stuff like that. But yeah, I would say
Pikmin
3D
3
World has
Deluxe.
been excellent, so I'm very happy how that turned out.
I agree. And if my final comment on everything is, I think that we forgot to mention that the Switch came out at just the perfect time, especially with everything that is going on right now globally. More than ever, people have been connecting with each other, especially through the lockdowns, through playing video games. And I think that Nintendo's prioritization on family games rather than single player, they do have a focus on them, but they do have that presence with family games. That's what they're most known for. And I think that the Switch is a perfect console in that regard. They have the time, and then as well, they have specific games, like you said. You have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is a perfect multiplayer game. You have Smash. Sure, the online might not be perfect, but at least they have the opportunity to play those games, especially during this time.
That's a wonderful point to bring up right there, because it reminded me of when we were at the very beginning of whatever happened last year, the whole pandemic. We were all scared. We didn't know what to do. So when it came to holidays, Easter was coming up. Usually we do a little celebration or something. So what I decided to do to go around this is I called up my friends. They're essentially like my cousins since we've known each other since life. And I scheduled a little Easter celebration in Animal Crossing where I hid gold nuggets around my island. And I made it into an Easter egg hunt, and we had a ton of fun playing it. And really, the Switch has provided some great memories, great experiences with the family, though. In my opinion, I think the Wii was definitely more connecting with families and stuff because of games like Wii Sports and stuff like that. I really wish we'd see stuff like that on the Switch, because it'd be perfect for it. But yeah, I do agree with you there. And it's a really good point to bring up.
I feel like with family and friends and everything, I feel like the Wii was the best console to get families together, and the Switch was the best console to get friends together.
Oh yeah, and I'll go on. Oh no, I was just gonna say, the reason why I'm so fixated on a Switch Pro is because the potential that the Switch has right now is immense. Like even more so than what it is right now. Like, fixing all the kinks that the Switch has now with a better revised version is just that's all I want. That's literally all I want, besides like everything that we mentioned beforehand. But what were you gonna say, Starcronix?
No, I was actually, you basically got it slapjawed. You got everything.
Okay, cool.
Well, anyways, I think that about wraps it up. Happy birthday to the Switch. Here's to a great, bright future. I'm Demeech.
I'm Ty, the guy from T&D Productions.
I'm Reecee.
And I'm Starcronix.
And keep calm and da-da on.